rising off the floor. Jim and me. Oh, my. We can fly.
You can fly.
We can fly.
Come on, everybody. Here we go.
We gon' have the power to fly like this without no pack, without no suit. We ain't gon' need to be taken up and then jump out the plane. We gon' take off from the ground. The Lord is gon' give us power to fly, man.
Hast thou not known? Hast thou not heard? That the everlasting God, the Lord, the Creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary. There is no searching of his understanding. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might he increaseth strength. Even the youths shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint.
Isaiah 40.
Shalom Akyam wa Akwatiam. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. I'd like to proceed this lesson with the giving double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who do rule well and teach well, man. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 110, verse 3. In the GNT, on the day you fight your enemies, your people will volunteer like the dew of early morning, for your young men will come to you on the sacred hills. You know, and this you know, so like I didn't want to read that one, you know, I'll just read it in the KJV, but this precept is going into spiritual powers, man. You know, Psalms chapter 110 verse 3 in the KJV. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, in the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning thou hast to do with thy youth. You know, this is going into spiritual powers, man. You know, spiritual powers that is going to come soon, man. I'm gonna go into the book of Isaiah chapter 40 verse 31, man. You know, let me see if I can get some more on it. Isaiah 40 let's see, let me start at verse 28. Verse 28. It's Isaiah 40 chapter 28. Hast thou not known, hast thou not heard, that the everlasting power of the Lord Yahweh, the creator of the ends of the earth, fainteth not, neither is weary? There is no searching of his understanding. You know, and this is going into the Most High, you know. You know, this is going into the Most High, verse 28. This is verse 29. This is the point right here. 29 to verse 31, this is the point. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increases strength. You know, so it doesn't matter if it, you know, if you're one of the, you know, a so-called smaller, you know, a so-called weaker Jake, man, in the flesh, man. You know, a smaller Jake. You know, it doesn't matter about how much muscles you got, man. You know, because in that day, you know, the Most High is gonna give the elect spiritual powers, man. Isaiah 40, chapter 29. He giveth power to the faint, and to them that have no might, he increaseth strength. You know, and to them that have no might, you don't need to have no, you know, physical, you know, strength. When the Lord is gonna, you know, he increaseth strength, man. He's gonna give you the power, man. He giveth power to the faint, man. You know, to the weak. Verse 30, even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. But they, you know, this is to clarify, break it down, verse 30, even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall, man. This is going into the non-elect people, man. You know, these 2/3, these other people, you know, they're not going to get spiritual powers, man. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. Verse 31, but they that wait upon the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall renew their strength. And this is going into the elect, man. But they that wait upon the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. You know, this is going into spiritual powers, man. You know, we're gonna be able to, you know, take lift. You know, like that video I just opened up with. The brother said, you know, we're not gonna have to jump out of planes, you know, with parachutes on and skydive. You know, we're gonna be able to lift off, you know, like Superman, man, like, you know, Hancock from the floor, man. You know, there's the book of Judges chapter 15. You know, this is going into